December of 2006, we had a water main break and almost half of our community lost water at some point. And as a result of that, that really pushed forward the capital improvement plan, especially with rate development. Our water rates and wastewater rates were a result of the capital improvement plan and pushing forward with a long-term funding source for those capital projects. Our most current one that we're going to be looking at will be the stormwater capital projects. If we get to that point. Right now it's just for the operations and the mandatory things we have to do to keep our stormwater runoff clean. The past few years we've changed our budget process as well as our capital improvement process. It's fairly new. We are now going through every department's budget, line by line, item by item, and it's a committee of staff members, of managers, who meet with every department during the budget process. We go through every line. We question why we're spending money on any item that they have in their budget. We question whether it's being spent efficiently, whether we're being effective in providing services to our community, our citizens who pay the bills for all these items that we do. As far as half-cent sales tax projects, there's two categories of projects that the city manages. One is voter-approved projects. That would be affordable housing, as well as the big projects that we've already seen, Texas Bank Sports Complex going in, the fairground improvements, including the parking lot and some new construction out there, as well as water supply, which we're just now starting to get into, some park renovations, renovations to some of our other facilities such as the convention center and Coliseum. But then on the other side of that, we have incentives to companies, which are economic development activities. Those dollars are paid to companies to incentivize jobs, to bring those jobs to our communities or to retain them. Our biggest one, of course, is Martifer, the wind generation company. But there are several other smaller companies that haven't been as widely publicized, but are definitely bringing jobs to San Angelo, creating dollars, increasing sales tax, property tax, and that's the intent and purpose of the half-cent sales tax. In the current fiscal year, we have almost $33 million in projects budgeted. A lot of those projects are water and wastewater, street reconstruction, the very typical, very basic infrastructure projects, but included in that are technology projects, projects out at the airport, parks, renovations, recreation projects that are Little League fields and sport fields. Next year, we are proposing almost $30 million in capital projects. That list hasn't been finalized, but Council will be approving that list very soon in our budget process. Well, a couple of the projects that are budgeted this year are technology and public information type projects. A digital signage project where we will be putting up digital signage at our venues. It'll be scrolling information about those venues, about city policies and prices, as well as very important information such as emergency notices about weather or things going on in the community that the public needs to know about, possibly even street closures that they need to be aware of also. The water main break that we had just recently could have been used for that digital signage very easily. Our public information office has already incorporated some information that goes out to the public immediately, but that could definitely have been used. It would have been something visual for somebody who is not on their Facebook or Twitter site or on their cell phone, but they can see it visually as they're passing by a venue that the city owns. Half-cent sales tax have a very focused use for them. Its main use is for economic development, to bring those jobs into our community, to retain the jobs in our community. In addition to that, we are under the 4B half-cent sales tax, which allows voters to approve projects which stimulate economic development, such as improving our Coliseum and Convention Center by investing dollars in those facilities. We can acquire other conferences and performances that come into town that draw outside visitors into our community, as well as the Texas Bank Sports Complex. Draws teams from all around the country that can come here and play, and they spend money on hotels to stay here, as well as paying sales tax for meals, for goods, and while they're in San Angelo. The importance of sales tax to city government is our second highest revenue source. Our number one source is property tax. Second is sales tax. The trick with sales tax is it depends on our citizens and visitors in San Angelo, how much money they choose to spend on goods and services. It's hard to project, especially in the economy that we're in now, with quick fluxes in whether we're going up or down. San Angelo really has been sustained quite well through this economic time. We're kind of in a bubble. We don't see the highs, we don't see the lows. We're much more on a wave type pattern, and we are really weathering the recession quite well. And our half-cent sales tax is projected very conservatively, so we're not trying to push the envelope on sales tax every year. We do a conservative estimate so that we know that we can make it, and if we don't make it, we do have room to adjust. Public meetings for our budget process in the future, as we look at them, will essentially stay the same at city council meetings. However, we will provide information prior to council meetings on our website, on our Channel 17, posting information hopefully through our Facebook accounts, and getting that information out to the public so that they can start seeing the details that City Council is looking at and discussing, so that if they want to comment and provide information, they can contact their council member directly or come to a council meeting and express their opinions in person.